Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Emma Milani about Monarch on Fox. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like right out of the gate, this show has kind of so many elements. There's the family drama component of it that we always love to see. There's the music component of it. Which kind of elements stood out to you the most when you were when you were like working on this show?
What elements of the show? Well, definitely the drama. It's packed with drama from every angle, every kind of drama you can imagine, because we have the three generations, Susan and Trace, Anna and Beth and Luke and Kayla and all of them, and then me and Aniko.
Yep.
Ace. So you've got it from all angles. You've got the kids, you've got you've got everything. So.
What is whether you're part of the flashbacks or not, I feel like it's pretty cool to be part of a show that evolves, like kind of like you said, like the different generations and everything. What is that mindset? Because I feel like the flashbacks are used a lot, right? Like, is it just kind of like the aesthetic, how everything's going to look? Like, what's going through your mind with flashbacks specifically?
With flashbacks, well, the purpose of the flashbacks are to inform us about what's happening now in the current world of Monarch.
Yeah.
So, they are flashbacks, but they're just as relevant as what's currently happening, because they will eventually come together and inform you of where we're headed. Is that?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. No, I just feel like it's so cool because so many TV shows and movies, Emma, use flashbacks, and there's so many different ways to be used. It's really cool how Monarch uses them. What can you tell us specifically about what we've seen with your character so far, and like the journey specifically on Monarch with your character so far?
Well, the journey of my character thus far has been, I'm a girl. I'm a kid. I'm a 16-year-old girl who is dying to be a country singer. I mean, that's what her whole life has been about, what she's always wanted and been inspired by. And we're picking up learning about Anna from the point in her life where she's actually kind of starting to be able to inch towards that in a real way.
Yeah.
So her journey has been a long one of, being a kid from Albuquerque who didn't really have much, and it's just her and her mom, but we're seeing it start to come into fruition from the very beginning of her entering her world. So her journey has been showing up in this world that she's not a part of and experiencing rejection and, the insecurity when you're just starting out of, am I going to make it? Is anyone going to notice me? Am I worthy of being here in this world of, icons, country music icons?
Yeah.
And just grappling with that and kind of trying to pave her way into it.
Yeah, there's like a push and pull because there's so many kind of things happening, and there is that like one goal, kind of like you said, of being like a country music star, but it's like all kind of the hurdles in the way. I feel like as an actor and a storyteller, I mean, like when you see that kind of journey on script and then you see it kind of transformed on screen, I feel like that's a really kind of magical feeling, right? To see that kind of from the script to the screen, so to speak.
Yeah, completely. And it was like even more so magical for me because I feel the same way. I being on this project was that for me, Anna's journey into the country music world that she's always dreamt of. Me booking Monarch was that.
Yeah.
This is the biggest project I've ever been a part of. So me being able to come here and experiencing this whole new world that I've always wanted to be a part of and only ever really gotten a taste of, it's the same thing. So yeah, it was just as magical for me.
On the music side of things, what is it like working on a show where music and the music industry is like the focal point on top of like the drama, like you said in the beginning of the interview? Like, what's that like working on a show where music is kind of the focal point specifically?
I assume that it really changes things from like a regular, not a regular, but a show that doesn't have music involved in
Yeah.
the way that we do. Because we spent so much time in the studio. You know, it takes a long time. You go and, you know, it's for television, and it's also released on music streaming platforms. So it's so important for us to get it right. And I know that there were so many people on the show working with accents, you know, in not only in scenes, but in the music portion as well. So that, you know, it changed things for everybody.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
adds an extra layer of work.
What was your interest and familiarity specifically with country music before Monarch? Like, were you into country music? Were you not into it? Now you work on the show and now you feel like you're either really into it, or like you have to say you're into it because you're on the show. Like, what's what's the Emma Milani country music relationship like?
Yeah, no, I was just having a conversation about this with a friend of mine. It's funny. I mean, I'm pretty sure the extent to which I listened to country music before Monarch was like Hannah Montana. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I always have loved folk music. Like, you know, anything from like John Prine to, you know, Angus and Julia Stone, if you can call that folk. But being on the show has really given me an appreciation for country music, and now I love it. Not all of it, but I definitely love it.
Can you imagine if you're like in there like for the audition and they're like, "Yeah, tell me about country music." You're just like, "I love it. Listen to it all the time."
I would completely.
Oh, well, we're way past that.
My favorite genre.
Oh man, no, because with this one, it really is like immersed. Like, it's really like the country music industry is like a machine on its own, right? So it like becomes, it's not only you're working on like a show about the music industry, you're working on a show about the country music industry.
Yes. No, and it's so quintessentially country, especially with Trace on board. I mean, you know, he's got stories to tell you.
Well, you know, you said like dream come true booking Monarch. I feel like whether you've worked on projects for like 20 years or it's like your first year working on a project, I feel like there's always going to be learning experiences no matter what. Because like I work on a lot of different projects and I'm always learning something new and everything. What can you tell me learning experiences wise? Like anything kind of cool you've learned specifically on working on Monarch, Emma?
Oh shoot! Well, that's a tough one just because, you know, there's so much.
You could write a country music song about everything you learned on Monarch.
Yeah, that'll be my next move. That'll be my next move. No, I mean, I learned different things from everybody. Everybody had something different to teach me. I learned a lot just from watching, you know, like Susan, Trace, Anna Friel, everybody work. Everybody works differently. And I would say the most that I ever learned was just sitting down and having dinner with everybody and talking and hearing all of their stories, because they have so much experience in the industry. You know, anybody, Melissa Lennon Hilfers, everybody, just sitting down and talking, you learn so much.
What are those conversations like specifically, like you mentioned, like Trace and everything? What are those conversations like in terms of big scenes and big kind of decisions characters need to make about their path of being a musician? Like, what are those conversations like with your cast members about like the big things that kind of happen in episodes? Because I feel like every episode has kind of one or two like big moments.
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, you know, I just kind of sit down with it, and you just gotta, you know, it's different every time, and you know, you know who you're playing, and you know, you just got to know who you're playing. So we'll just kind of talk, and it's like, this is the journey of the character, this is where we're going with it. And you know, I think even just talking about what that journey is helps to make decisions and have fun with it and kind of play around in all of that.
Oh, absolutely. Emma, thank you for joining me on Popternative to chat about Monarch. This is really great chatting with you.
Thank you for having me. Great chatting with you
No
too.
problem. Monarch is on Fox, so you can check that out. And in terms of kind of keeping up to date with everything, is Instagram the best way they keep up to date with everything on your end?
Yes,
Is
Instagram.
it just your name? Is it just like Emma Milani?
It's ITS and then Emma Milani.
Ah.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popturn. For previous episodes, you can catch Emma Milani in Monarch on Fox. Until next time, this is Emma and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.